Last weekend, my boyfriend and I took a trip to St. Louis, Missouri, and just like every person that goes to St. Louis, we visited the Gateway Arch. In the arch, there's a museum at the bottom, and in that museum is an exhibit dedicated to the designer of the arch, Eero Saarinen. Eero Saarinen was born in Finland in 1910 to an architect father and a mother who was a sculptor. In 1923, the Saarinen family moved to the United States, where Eero Saarinen attended school in Michigan. Later in life, Saarinen went to school in Paris to study art and to learn about sculptures just like his mother. And after that, he studied to become an architect like his father at Yale University. And after he graduated Yale University, Saarinen got a scholarship to travel Europe freely and to study art and architecture, and he did that for a few years. After traveling, Saarinen joined his father's architect practice in 1938. While working for his father, Saarinen designed many buildings like the Crow Island School, Illinois. After a few years of working in his father's practice, Saarinen became a partner with his father and another architect named J. Robert F. Swanson, but that ended. After the partnership with Swanson ended, Saarinen went into business with his father, called Saarinen and Associates, which lasted until his father died. After his father's death, Saarinen wanted to prove himself as an independent architect, so he wanted to be more than just, hey, you're famous and an architect because your father was famous and an architect. He knew that he had an incredible talent, so he really wanted to prove himself. So he ended up entering a contest for the Jefferson National Expansion Memorial, aka the Gateway Arch. Saarinen knew that this landmark would be important, and he was worried about making a design that would show importance for years to come. So he wanted his design to last. He wanted to make an impact on anyone who visited the arch and anyone who saw it. So this influenced Saarinen's decision to study the area the memorial would be in, and as he studied the area, nothing seemed right. He thought about making it like a rectangle or a square or a dome or some kind of sphere, but none of those designs seemed right. But he eventually decided that an arch shape at the edge of the Mississippi River was the right thing to do. Saarinen died in 1961 before the construction of the Gateway Arch started, so he never got to see it finished. The Gateway Arch may seem like it was Saarinen's greatest accomplishment, but he designed many great buildings like the Trans World Airlines Terminal at the JFK International Airport in New York, and Kresge Auditorium and Chapel of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. I've been to two buildings here in Columbus, Indiana, where I live, that Saarinen designed, and I have to say they are absolutely stunning. Saarinen designed the Miller House for his good friend, J. Irwin Miller. I always get his name mixed up. And his wife. And so the Millers saw that Saarinen designed some house in, I think, Canada. And they were like, hey, I know we're good buddies, but I really trust you, and I want you to design our family home. We need somewhere where we can raise our family, and we need somewhere that, Mr. Miller can entertain his guests and important people for work, because the Millers, J. Irwin Miller helped start Cummins Engines here in Columbus, and, they would have to entertain a lot of important people, and because during that time there was nothing really in Columbus, it was a lot of empty land. They just needed somewhere to entertain those people that they could go to and get a good meal. So Saarinen designed their house for them. The house is amazing. It's about 6,838 square feet and was, again, meant to be the Miller's home as well as a nice place to entertain guests. I've been to the Miller House, and it is amazing. When you walk in, you see this wide open space and these stone walls. The walls are made of glass and stone. and then you see this, just everything is like a geometric pattern. And the design Saarinen was going for was modern, was more of a modern architecture and a lot of geometric design and lower ceilings and lots of skylight. The Miller family wanted a lot of natural lighting, so that's what Saarinen gave them. And then while working on the Miller house, Saarinen brought in a lot of different people to work with him. So Saarinen brought in a landscape architect he worked with when he was designing the arch named Dan Kiley. And Saarinen also brought in an interior designer named Alexander Gerard. And I just think that's amazing. Like, I remember being on the tour, and the tour guide was talking about how Saarinen made sure Mrs. Miller got everything she wanted inside the house. Like, every furniture, every plate, every dish, like, just anything Mrs. Miller wanted, Saarinen made sure it got done. And I just think that's amazing. And I think it's amazing that the Millers trusted Saarinen so much to design their family home, and how amazing it was that Saarinen was able to put the Millers' thoughts and ideas into a design. And another building that I've been to here in Columbus that Saarinen designed is the North Central Christian Church. And the design for that, I'm not really sure where he came up with it, but the first thing you see whenever you see the church from a distance is this giant, kind of looks like a needle. And then down from there, it's like a dome. And I just think it's amazing that Saarinen can come up with designs like that out of nowhere. And during the time that Saarinen was an architect, those designs were unheard of. They were unique and they were different. And I think a lot of people were able to see that.